You've lost weight before, maybe 10 or 20 pounds, maybe even hit your goal weight, and you've lost the weight multiple times. The issue is it keeps creeping back on because you don't know how to maintain your results once you reach your goal. Today, we're going to talk about how to master maintenance so you can keep your results for the rest of your life. Welcome to the Fit and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week, I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, become obsessed with what you see when you look in the mirror, and feel confident and strong in your body, all without feeling stressed, burned out, or guilty. Let's dive in. The majority of the clients I work with have lost weight before, even if it's a couple pounds, 5, 10, 15, 20. But many of them tell me, Soraya, the reason I want to join your program is because you have an entire phase built for maintenance. And anytime I've done any other diet, challenge, whatever it is, no one taught me how to transition from dieting to maintaining. And so this episode is really going to be important to help you understand how things need to be adjusted when you get to a place where you want to maintain weight. Because if you don't master that, you're going to keep losing and gaining, losing and regaining, and being frustrated every time because you feel like you wasted time and resources losing weight, but it's not sticking. And something you have to understand is losing weight and maintaining weight loss are actually two different skills. There are many overlaps with the approach to each one, but the skill of maintaining weight requires more of a long-term focused solution versus trying to get to a goal at a set period of time. And most people don't make that transition, which is why I see a lot of folks doing very restrictive diets, 30-day challenges, things to get to their goal weight fast. But then once they get there, they're like, well, all the things I did to get here, I don't want to maintain that long term. So the weight comes back. So it's really important to understand how maintenance is different than losing weight and how to master both of them. So the first thing we have to understand is something called metabolic adaptations. This is essentially where when you're losing weight and eating in a calorie deficit, your metabolism slows down to conserve energy. This happens regardless of the calorie deficit, but the lower your calorie deficit is, the more your metabolism slows down. And what happens with metabolic adaptations is if you think about the word, it's metabolically your body's adapting. So if you're going on a diet and you're eating 1,200 calories for a long period of time, your body's going to start adapting to that number because it's the normal for your body. That's not good if you don't want to continue eating 1,200 calories for life. Because if your body adapts to that number, if you make any dramatic changes like you go back to eating normally, you're going to gain weight even faster. So if you've ever experienced rebound weight gain, where when you come off a diet, you gain weight back very quickly, it's typically due to metabolic adaptations where your body got really accustomed to a very low amount of calories. All of a sudden you raised it, and so your body's like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? And so it reacts. So there's ways that you want to operate to avoid this so that when you do eat more food, you're not gaining a ton of weight back. And when I see people try to beat a plateau, I see them do one of two things. So say your goal weight is 150 pounds, you're at 160, and you just can't get the scale to go lower. I see one of two things happen. Either number one, people cut their calories dramatically even more because they're like, well, I got to cut calories further. And that further slows your metabolism and further causes your body to adapt. Or I see people who just give up completely. They're like, screw it, this isn't working. And they just go back to eating their normal amount of calories. So say you were eating, let's say, for example, 1,500 calories, and that's a deficit for you for 4 months, 1,500 calories straight. And then all of a sudden you're like, I give up, and you start eating 2,200 calories again. You're going to see a rapid weight gain happen because that's a quick increase. Or say you're eating 1,500 calories, you hit a plateau, and now you go down to 1,200 calories. Now you're causing your metabolism to slow down even more. So say you go down to 1,200 calories, yeah, you might lose a bit more weight, but if you go back up again, even back to 1,500, your body's adapted to 1,200 because you've been there for a long period of time. So you're also going to experience sudden weight gain. So how do we combat this? We combat this with something called reverse dieting. This is a way to slowly rebuild your metabolism after you have gone into a calorie deficit and still be able to eat more food without gaining weight. Reverse dieting is the key to mastering maintenance. So like I said, what a lot of people do is they're eating low calorie, then they'll just jump back to the normal calories again, which is why they experience sudden weight gain. Reverse dieting is the practice of slowly and gradually increasing your calories back over time. So say, for example, you're in a calorie deficit of 1,500 calories. You hit your goal weight, woohoo, great. But you're like, okay, well, I don't want to continue eating 1,500 calories, which you shouldn't because you no longer need to be in a deficit because you've met your goal weight. So now that you've lost that weight, your new maintenance calories might be, say, 2,000 calories, for example, right? So instead of you just going from eating 1,500 to 2,000 calories, you want to gradually increase your calories back to 2,000. If you do it gradually through reverse dieting, you'll end up eating 2,000 calories. That'll be your new maintenance from now on. You can eat that every day and still maintain your goal weight, and you won't have experienced rebound weight gain as a result. So reverse dieting, a lot of people do it different ways, but what a lot of our clients do is every other week they'll increase their calories by 50 calories to 100 calories. So if they're starting at 1,500, next week they'll go up to 1,600. Then they'll stay there for 2 weeks, and then the next week they'll go to 1,650 and slowly increase over time. And typically we have their protein remain the same. The carbs and fat are what we want to bring up. So this allows them to gradually increase calories and macros over time, not shock their body, slowly rebuild their metabolism back to maintenance. And the thing about our clients is they're not eating super low calorie anyway, so it doesn't take them long to get back to their new maintenance number. And I have a really cool example of this. So we had a client who came to us and she was like, Soraya, I just have like 15 more pounds to lose. The weight is stubborn. I'm literally eating 1,000 calories right now and I can't lose any weight. And so what we did is sometimes I have clients say I'm only eating 1,000 calories and can't lose weight. But when we look at the data, they're actually eating more than they think. They're just not like aware of it. But in this case, this client tracked for about a week and she truly was only eating 1,000 calories and the weight wouldn't budge. And we told her, we were like, we need to do a reverse diet because you've been eating so little for so long. Your body has adapted. Your metabolism is very slow. So you trying harder and cutting calories harder is making things worse. So we slowly increased her calories from 1,000 to 1,500. And she was really scared. She was like, oh my gosh, that feels scary for me. Like 1,500 is a lot of calories. I'm going to gain weight. We slowly moved her way up to 1,500. When we got there, she had only gained 1 pound. Imagine eating 500 more calories and only gaining a pound, which is pretty nominal, right? And she still looked about the same. So we got there, and then her actual maintenance number was 1,700, but we started with 1,500 so she'd feel comfortable. So then we went up to 1,700. She got there, no extra weight gain. So she was still at her current weight, eating 700 more calories. We kept her there for a little bit before we put her into an appropriate deficit, because what we needed to do in this client's case is we had to slowly rebuild her metabolism, train her body to understand what her new maintenance number was, and then stay there for a little bit before we go back into a deficit to help her lose that remaining weight. So after that, we put her back into a deficit of 1,500 calories. Because her body had now adapted to 1,700 calories as her new maintenance, 1,500 was now a deficit to it. So then she ended up losing all the weight in about 3 months after going into that small deficit, eating 500 more calories. She went from eating 1,000 calories and not losing a single pound to eating 1,700 and only gaining a pound to eating 1,500 and achieving her weight loss and body composition goals. And it's funny, she actually messaged me a couple weeks ago and she was like, you guys were so right. Like, I was so scared to eat more food. I thought I would gain a bunch of weight. I didn't think it made sense what you guys were saying, but I trusted the process. And I literally never thought that I'd be eating this much food in my life and look this good. So this is a case of a client who was trying to beat their plateau. In other cases, we have clients who are working with us. They hit their weight loss goal working with us, and then we gradually increase back to maintenance to help them maintain their goal weight while eating more food. But either way, the key to getting to your goal weight and maintaining it is mastering maintenance, and part of that is reverse dieting. The third thing you need to focus on if you want to maintain your goal weight is healing your relationship with food. I've seen so many women lose weight, get to their goal weight, and sabotage everything because they don't have a good relationship with food. And I even was talking to a friend the other day, and what they were telling me is they lost like 100 pounds. And they were like, even though I lost 100 pounds, I still have a fear of regaining the weight. I have a fear that one day I'll just let myself go again, like lose all self-control around food and regain the weight. And this is a fear a lot of women have, and it's a fear that a lot of women have that stops them from starting in the first place because they're worried that they will lose weight but gain it all back. And a lot of this fear comes from the fact that you don't have a healthy relationship with food. Maybe you can be disciplined for a couple weeks, a couple months, but in the back of your mind, you feel like someone who has no self-control around food. So at some point, you feel like you'll sabotage. If you don't fix this relationship, you will sabotage, or it'll be a subconscious thought in the back of your head for your entire life, the worry of you regaining the weight because you don't have control around food. So we have to change this narrative if you want to be able to maintain your results. So here's some signs that your relationship with food needs some work. If you categorize some foods as good and others as bad, so if you see vegetables as good and fast food as bad, if you see fruit as good and pizza as bad, if you see a cookie as bad and you see lettuce as good, that's a sign that you don't have the best relationship with food because you're labeling food. And when you're someone who labels food, you probably also label yourself based on what you ate that day. So if you ate pizza, you feel bad about yourself. If you ate a salad, you feel good about yourself. And this relationship makes it very hard because you probably like the things you consider bad. So it creates this very complicated relationship with you and food. So you have to change the language you use around food. And I really believe words are power. So you simply saying different things will change the way that you think. So if you're about to say you had some pizza today and you're about to say to someone, "Oh, I ate really bad today," stop yourself, right? You didn't eat bad. You ate more calories than usual. You didn't eat your usual meal prep lunch. That's a neutral statement. It's factual. It's not attributing positive or negative to a certain food or the behaviors you exhibited around that food. So whenever you're catching yourself about to say something about food that's either positive or negative, just change the statement to be neutral, and then you'll change your brain to filter through those thoughts and change your responses based on the new way of reacting. So this is a simple hack I use in everything in my life. If ever I have a negative thought, I catch it. I'm like, wait, let me catch that. I don't have to believe that thought. I can change how I process it. I can change how it comes out of my mouth. And that retrains your brain to think more neutrally and positively about your actions. Now, another thing I see a lot of times is emotional eating being a big factor with relationship with food. So for example, when you're stressed, sad, bored, anything, you turn to food. We have to separate emotions from food. So many times, and this can happen during childhood, what we've seen with our parents, with coworkers, with friends, is we think emotion, eat. And it's because we see food as a distraction or something to make us feel good or a dopamine hit that'll permanently or temporarily take away that emotion. But the thing is, food doesn't solve the problem. If you're stressed and you eat, you're going to have that dopamine hit from the food and feel good for that, 5 minutes that you're eating. But once the food is gone, guess what? The stress comes right back. The issue you're having comes right back. And so when you can foresee this and know, okay, eating this is not going to solve my problem. Eating this is not going to make me feel less stressed. If you have the foresight to know that, it'll help you make better decisions. If you're stressed, you want to do something that actually helps you relieve it. Go for a walk, journal, call a friend. Those types of activities actually allow you to de-stress, and they don't involve you eating an extra 1,000 calories of food that's not really solving the problem. So whenever you're experiencing emotions, you want to stop, kind of like we talked about before, stop and catch yourself. Okay, I'm feeling stressed. What do I want to do right now? My first inclination is to eat. Why is that? Because eating is going to help me distract from the pain or the emotion. And you have to remember, I'm not trying to distract myself. I actually want to de-stress. I actually want to solve the problem. What's a better approach? I can go for a walk. I can call a friend. I can actually handle the thing that's stressing me out. And then you can turn to those things instead of turning to food. And this is why a big part of our program is we have our own in-house therapist to help our clients work through their relationship with food. And that way implementation of nutrition becomes easy because they're not seeing food as black and white, good or bad. They're like, I can have the chocolate and stop at 2 pieces. I can have the cookie and just have one. I don't have any drama or guilt around food. And you got to remember the relationship you have with food when you're dieting or eating less calories is the same relationship you're going to have when you get to your goal weight. So if that's a bad relationship, you're going to end up sabotaging because you haven't changed things at the core, things in your mind. You've just changed the exterior. But if the interior doesn't change, the exterior is never going to change and stay changed as well. The next thing you have to do is change your mindset from a diet mindset to a lifestyle change mindset. So what I mean by this is diets have a start date and end date. You do a 30-day challenge, it starts January 1st and ends January 30th. And so when you have that mindset, you end up regaining the weight because after the end date, you're like, okay, well, I'm just kind of winging it and going back to my old habits. But if you want to maintain your weight, there's no going back to your old habits. You have to create new, sustainable lifestyle changes. And so we have to change our mindset from a diet brain and diet industry mindset to a lifestyle change mindset. The reason the diet industry makes so much money off of you is because you're a repeat customer. They have changed your and warped your mind to think, okay, diets, I'm starting here, I'm ending here. I finish, I regain the weight 3 months later, I'm doing another diet, starting and ending here. That's what's normal in the industry. So you keep buying new meal plans, workout plans, diets, challenges, because the industry rewards people who go hard for 30 days, but then no plan afterwards. So you need an approach that becomes a lifestyle for you. And this is why our program has a maintenance phase built in because we don't want our clients to be reliant on us or anyone for the rest of their lives. We want to educate and teach them how do you lose weight? How do you get to your goal weight and maintain it while still enjoying life, vacations, holidays, enjoying your favorite foods, everything you want in moderation. The next thing you want to do is determine non negotiable habits for long term success. So if you're doing any sort of weight loss challenge, there's typically like you're working out every single day, maybe you're cutting carbs, whatever it is. It's like every day is kind of extreme to hit that goal. But if you want to make long-term changes, instead you just want to have some minimum non-negotiables that you stick to on a regular basis. These are not anything extreme. They're things that pretty much fit into your schedule with ease, but help you maintain your results. So some things I recommend becoming non-negotiables for you are walking every day. So saying, okay, my non-negotiable every day for the rest of my life is I'm going to walk for at least 30 minutes. And that's very, very doable. And when it becomes a habit, it's easy. It feels natural. Like your body actually starts craving movement in the middle of the day. Another thing I would make a non-negotiable is water intake, right? So drinking 90 ounces of water, whatever your goal is, every single day. Once again, that's not hard to do if you plan it in. So, for example, have a water bottle on your desk, have one by your bedstand, have one in different areas where you typically eat. And that way, the first thing you grab is water over a soda or something else. Another habit I really recommend making a lifestyle change, making it a long term thing, is the plate rule. The plate rule is simply when you're eating your meals, trying to make sure about half of that plate is veggies and or fruits, a fourth of it is lean proteins, and a fourth of it is carbs. And this is something that's easy to do because it doesn't require specific foods or you making your own food. Like if you're at a restaurant and you have the plate rule as a long-term thing that you're going to be doing, you look at the menu and if you want to have waffles or pancakes, great, have the waffles and pancakes. But then you say, okay, I need a fruit or a vegetable and I need a protein. So you're like, okay, I'm going to order the pancakes, but then I'm also going to have eggs on the side or chicken sausage as my protein. And then I'm going to have a bowl of fruit too. So when you have this being your habit, that's a lifelong habit, it helps train your brain to say no matter where I am, what I'm eating, I'm still following this kind of roadmap to make sure I'm still having a plate that is split into a way that's helpful for my goals and maintaining them, but also includes the thing that I actually want to eat, which in this case is the waffles or pancakes. So I don't know if I want to call them rules, but have non-negotiables for yourself so that no matter what's happening in life, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, when you're still maintaining your goal weight, you still have these non-negotiables you stick to that allow you to sustain your goal weight. The next thing you want to do is have a real world plan and a practical plan for navigating situations where you're not in control. So vacations, holidays, work events, social events. So some things I recommend in these cases, if you're looking to maintain your results for life, is seeing as an opportunity to just continue practicing your healthy habits. So what this could look like is, okay, whenever I go to a social event or a holiday, I stick to 2 alcoholic drinks. That's kind of my rule of thumb. Whenever I go to a social event or holiday event, I follow the plate rule. Once again, if you're at a wedding, that could be mac and cheese as your carb, chicken as your protein, green beans as your vegetable. Like that rule holds up no matter where you are. Some other things you can implement is having a high protein snack about 2 hours before. This is something our clients do, and it's really helpful because if you have a snack about 2 hours before, you're not starving by the time you get somewhere. Because if you are starving, that's when you don't make the best decisions. But by having something about 2 hours before, you're helping yourself hit your protein goals, which helps you stay full and satisfied. And when you get there, you're not just ravenous and grabbing anything on your plate. You're choosing things that you enjoy, but also things that keep you in line with the plate rule. One of the reasons, if you've looked at our program page, you've seen client testimonial videos 2 years, 3 years, 5 years after graduating from our program, it's because we intentionally teach maintenance, like the actual science behind it with reverse dieting. But we also help our clients change their relationship with food, learn how to navigate social events, holidays, create non-negotiables, and that way what they're doing becomes lifestyle changes far, far, far after they're done working with us inside of our program. And if you implement these things, you'll be able to do the same thing as well. So thank you so much for tuning into the Fit and Fulfilled show today. Hope you walked away with practical strategies you can start implementing to maintain your weight loss goals and feel more confident and fulfilled in your everyday personal and professional life. And if you found this helpful in absolutely any way, I ask that you please subscribe and share with a friend who you think would benefit from this information. And if you're a busy professional woman who wants to lose 20 to 50 pounds and keep it off without strict dieting or cutting out your favorite foods, then I would love to invite you to apply for our coaching program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. In the Academy, we help women like you by providing the personalized guidance, coaching, and support with nutrition, fitness, and mindset to achieve lasting weight loss. All the details are down below. Next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember you deserve to feel as confident in your body as you do in your career. Take care.